Ooh, we're live. Hey-o.
What up? What up?
What's up, fellas?
What's going on?
Nate's rocking the Milo shirt tonight. I like it.
You know, I wish I could play guitar or drums so I could, play the song, the KOTG song, but I can't do either. So I just pretend.
Just pretend.
Makes me feel good. But,
All right. Hell yeah.
So Ron was in the chat so early. He's on the show tonight.
He won his chance.
finally, after 37 consecutive shows of being first in the chat, we finally let him join us on the show.
I see it goes
Well,
in the background. What's that floating in the background?
Since the new format, it's no fun being first in chat, man. It's like something to look forward to. Like,
Yeah, you won a couple wheel spins to be a guest. I think you won like twice within a month.
twice, right?
Like-
Twice, yeah.
Welcome, man. It's good to have you. Thanks for joining us. We're a little light tonight, so we thought, hey, let's have Ron on, man. We know he'll be here tonight, so jumping on.
Sure, yeah.
Ready?
Oh,
Ooh,
I'm drinking some water.
I got my lemonade. Should we get this show going?
Yes, sir.
Let's all grab a glass. Keep off the grass.
Keep off the grass.
Especially mine right now because it's got some toasty spots. No rain. Well, no, I lie. We got a little bit on Father's Day. That was nice. That was a nice reprieve. But up until that point, no rain.
That was pretty funny how you were saying Father's Day you can't mow, but you be careful what you wish for or whatever you're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
That is true though. Like, when it is raining every day, you're like, man, I need to get a mow in. Like, but I haven't had that problem this year. Not one time have I had that thought where it's like, shoot, I wish I could mow because I wish it just would rain.
Yeah, we've been definitely dry, but then all of a sudden we'll get like 3 inches, and then we'll go 10 days with nothing, and then we'll get like 1.5 inches, and then we'll go 14 days with nothing, and then like 2 inches. So I mean, it's good for you're getting the numbers, but like it's not good of like how it's like I'd rather have a little bit here, a little bit there, more
I feel
consistent.
like on those big heavy rains, you're probably not really going to get a lot of that's just going to get washed out. You can't take it all in. So it's like, oh, that sounds good on paper. You can see, oh, they've got this many inches, but really that one time you'd rather get a few less spread out for sure.
Well, and like to me, like I pay attention to the weather quite a bit, and honestly, like I wish in my job I could be wrong that much,
Yeah.
and still have a job and like still be able to do that. But like, there's so many times, and already this year, but in the past where I'll get up and I'll be like, oh, like I'm not going to do this today because it's going to rain, or I'm gonna put this down because it's going to rain tonight, and so like I'll put something down, and then of course it doesn't rain. And then it's like, well, now I have to water or whatever it is to, water it in. But actually Saturday here a couple of days ago, it was the opposite. I woke up, it was like supposed to rain at like 11 o'clock all day long. And it was like 9:30, 10. I looked and then it said 3. And I'm like, okay. And so I'm like, I mowed and I got my mow in and all that. And I look and it says, well, it's not going to rain until 7. So at this point, I'm like, okay, it's not going to happen. So I fired up the sprinklers at like 10 in the morning and started watering. I was like, I'm going to get a good water in and hit it pretty good. And then, about 11 o'clock at night, it just thunderstorms hard. And we get like, 1.5 inches, 2 inches of rain. And I'm like, dang it. Like, so then, I go ahead and put all the water down, and then it turns out it rains again. I'm like, gosh, there's $50 on my water bill I could have saved.
I tried that the other day. I washed both cars. I'm like, all right, now it's definitely going to rain. No, nothing.
Yeah, right. Yeah. No, Nate, you made a good point about when you apply something and then it doesn't rain, and then you're forced to water, and which is true because you could suck up that fertilizer for sure. And I've recently was actually just in this position where I applied fertilizer, and then I didn't get rain for a month. And I'm like, damn, I just pushed 30,000 square feet. I don't have irrigation. Yeah. So after I gave it like a week, and then I I gave it a good little watering, but that's the only watering I've done just to get a little bit on the fertilizer. But
that's why I like the slow release, the more kind of biosolid type fertilizers where there's less of a chance, because I don't have irrigation. I try to time it up like you guys are saying before rain, but then when the rain doesn't come, I'm so lazy. I don't want to have to go out there and like irrigate or get my shit spread around and move around all of a sudden. So if it's more of a slow release where it can sit out there without, burning the lawn as much as something more synthetic, that's half the reason why I like the slow release stuff anyways, because I know I don't have irrigation.
But like with my problem, like if I put it down and then it doesn't rain, I don't get any water for a week, I'm gonna have to mow again.
Well, that's true.
I'm gonna, I side discharge. Even if you mulch, it's probably you could suck it up and spin it around there. Or if I'm side discharge and I can spit it out, which I think I did that one year and I kind of had some stripes, if I remember. But,
oh, really? That
yeah,
bad?
it was this like before I even had an Instagram, but. But yeah.
So Papa Moslow just made a comment and said they got a call from the water company saying they have a leak. So my wife gets that call and she got it last week, and she literally asked him, she said, "Can you just put a note on her account that like says like at this time of the year, don't worry about our water bill going up because
this is Stripe Life's house."
Because my husband irrigates and and all that. She's like, yeah, it's gonna happen. But I did learn that our city, you can go and rent like a meter from like the water division, and it's like $25 for 2 weeks. You put it on your spigot, and then that saves your sewer cost. So like doing the math, that'd be like $100 a month, and I think that would save it would probably save me probably $200 a month. But the bad thing, I told her, I said, if I do that, I'll probably want to water more. If that's the case.
Yeah, you just
guys do that for.
But if you figure you're getting more bang for your buck. Yeah. Well, there you go too. All that stuff. Same. Yeah. If I ever get irrigation, I'm getting a second meter put in. I looked it up. It's like $300 from the city. You have to install it yourself or have like a plumber guy do it. But whatever the cost, it's a one-time cost. And then knowing how much water I use, if half of that increase is taken away, I could justify maybe a little bit more water in the summertime, same price, but double the water. And then I could really be green.
We have a kind of a handshake agreement, me and my wife, that from June to September, the water bill just goes straight to recycling. Like we don't even open it. We don't even look at it. We don't even talk, talk about it.
Babe. It is what it is.
It's direct payment. Like we don't even look at it. I always tell her, I said, I don't complain about the air conditioner. I don't complain about the heater in the wintertime. I said, so summertime with water, we just don't even look at it. Just send it straight to recycling. That's our agreement.
There you go. Yeah. You don't see it.
I was telling Bill earlier that I've just been watering the front, not even touching the back. Like as long as the front looks good, I don't care what the back looks like. Nobody can see it behind the fence anyway, so who gives a shit?
Yeah, there's a lot of people I think that take on that strategy that that you pick one or the other, because it is kind of hard to maintain it all from a cost perspective, just from a time perspective, everything. Especially, do you have irrigation, Ron?
No, not in the front, because the way to my sidewalks are all set up, and to try to get pipes and stuff underneath that's going to be a pain in the ass. So it's you can do it better in the back, not the front. So I could probably do it eventually, but it's just a matter of timing and money.
In the years past, like my experience, I just run sprinklers, and for me, I focus more, on the yard itself, where my boulevard strip tends to just get toasted. And that's probably the one area for me I struggle with is, the corners and the boulevard and all that. But this year I'm actually really trying to set up my sprinklers. So I get my boulevards and I'm trying to just tweak things just a little bit with all my sprinklers. I've actually found for me, my system. So I've probably the most questions I get about is when I post a video of those Hunter, the above ground irrigation ones I run. Yeah. I get a ton of questions about those. Like, where'd you buy them? How'd you build them? A lot of that. But I kind of got it figured out where I can run those. And then the Milnor Mini Max, which I'm a huge fan of that little sprinkler, because that little thing can cover 4,000 square foot. And it's just it's so adjustable. I feel like I'm kind of promoting it right now, but I get paid nothing by Milnor, by the way. But it's just a really good sprinkler that's super easy to adjust and dial. And I don't know. I really like that sprinkler. And
I'm using that Melnor, I guess what is it, the oscillator one with you can adjust it the width, the front and back or whatever. It's the wider one. I don't know which number it is. But I've been using that so I can hit, I adjust it just right where I can hit the parkway. I don't hit the bushes, and then just got to move it twice and I'm done. But I've been years, I've just with PVC, just from watching YouTube videos, I have just different sprinklers that I've made that I know, okay, if I put that on this side, this can get this whole area. I can, I only have to move it twice or only have to move it once. Even with like the rain birds, like I put them out there and that's it. Just set it and forget it and you're done.
Yeah. But that Melnor Minimax is literally like the perfect size for my front yard. Like as wide as it fans out. And the one thing I've noticed, like, so and I kind of talking a lot tonight, but
it's good, dude.
So the one that, like in the years past, I've always used timers, get the programmable timers, and I use quick connects. And I never really kind of put 2 and 2 together, which I mean, I knew it, but I just really wasn't like looking at it visually. But like how small it restricts your flow, whether you use like a 1/2-inch hose, a 5/8 hose, 3/4 hose, or whatever, but that ultimately reflects on your range of your sprinkler. So like this Melnor Minimax, it says 4,000. Well, I put it in my backyard, nice big open area, and just ran a single hose straight to it. And it was like, huge span and covering a great distance. But then I have a couple of those sprinklers. Then I put it on one of those like expandable hoses. It's only like a 1/2 inch or whatever. And like the range was significantly less. So then I was like looking at it and I hooked it up through my quick connects and it was even worse. You know what I mean? Because you're getting that, you're just restricting that flow so much and so much. So it was almost like I kind of wanted to like somehow capture that. It was like, look at this, like you can cover this much with this. And then the fan, like the size of the coverage was just, it was wild. Like I said, I've always just done it and just kind of adjusted, where my sprinklers are laying and all that. But then when I hooked up different hoses straight to the spigot, it was like, holy cow, like the coverage, I almost had to dial them back a little bit just because they had so much more coverage, you know what I mean? But
I have one that I built. It's like just like a rainbird, cheap from Home Depot. And I put it on, PVC frame, and I think I can do my whole front yard with one sweep with it, and it's just get it dialed in, and you're done. Okay, sit it out there and get it's like you said, it's the size of the hose, and I got really good because that's like right next to where the water meter is, so that's the most pressure, and on city water too. Yeah, I said guys will tell you, best water like 5 a.m. because everybody's sleeping. Nobody's using. I don't usually have that problem, so. I guess I'm one of the lucky ones.
So with that Melnor sprinkler you're talking about, how wide and how far does it shoot? Do you know? I don't know what it has to do with your pressure, but I mean,
So they say 4,000 feet is like the, if you have it set to the widest and then the furthest or whatever, it makes a 4,000 foot rectangle. I never get, my entire front yard is about 4,000. And that thing does not, I need 4 of them out there to cover that whole space. So I'm thinking maybe, I don't know, 1,500 square feet for me. But I think I've always had water pressure issues. I had the same issue at my old place, but it was a much smaller yard, so it didn't really matter. I had 2 set up in the front and then 1 on the side and then 2 in the back. But still, I was using 5 of those guys to hit up like, I think it was, I don't even remember the square footage of my first place, but not nearly as much as I have now. And I still had 4 or 5 out there covering the whole area. Part of it was because of the shape, you have to make it narrow between me and the neighbor's house, whatever, but then wide in the main lawn area. I love them, but now the yard's bigger. I use their little timer that's got the 4 ports that you can kind of program your schedule. I've used that for years. That one works great. I got their new Bluetooth I think it's Bluetooth one where you can do it from your couch or whatever. You can't, you can't do it from work, but you can do it from inside your house. So I got 4 outlets. So I have to somehow figure out how can I get 4 sprinklers to cover my entire yard. So I have some of those ones that oscillate, between me and the neighbors because it gets further distance. Yep. But then in the main parts, I have the mini maxes to cover the main kind of rectangular section of the lawn. And, they work great, but I feel like maybe I got a lot of buildup now. So I'm going to dunk them in vinegar and see if I can dissolve some of that shit up and open them up a little bit, because I feel like maybe their performance isn't where they should be or what I remember them to be. So
kind of like your shower head. You gotta like clean
exactly. Yeah, exactly. I mean, we have hard water out here too.
Do
so
they have
there's,
do they have the screens in there?
They do, yeah.
in the-
And I've
in the
debated
wa-
taking
yeah.
those out.
Sometimes you just rip them out. That's what I do. Just rip the
Yeah,
thing
because
Yeah,
that
I
blocks
did
some of
that
that flow
too.
too. So yeah.
Drill it out, yeah.
back to your question, Zach. I legit think that the 4,000 is close. I would say between 3,000 and 4,000 is very accurate. Like I said, in my backyard, my full backyard, I can run 2, and it'll cover the whole thing. My whole
Okay.
backyard,
Nice.
just running 2.
Because I have a Melnor one that's like, one of those fans like this,
Yep.
and it covers
That's
a
the
lot. But why I asked, I'm
Yeah,
thinking about
4,500 or something.
I'm thinking about doing something. So like I can't hit everywhere in my lawn. Like if I even wanted to irrigate, like it'd be impossible. So what I thought about doing is like just off my back porch, just like in one straight line all the way out to my shed, just doing like, I probably have to move it 4 times to just cover one like wide path. And so I just have like one big stripe I'm irrigating.
There you
So
go.
it'd be like, and then like just see what happens. Like if I
Like a
just
sod
keep like,
farm.
if I just keep the middle irrigated, and then like the sides and the edges won't get any irrigation, and then like at least I can keep some of it green, and then it'd be kind of cool to see what happens. But I
Yeah,
thought
leave
about
those
my
other
neighbor
areas a
down.
little tall too.
Bill,
My
did
neighbor
you ever?
like Olee did the other day with his wobble heads? He's got the PVC along the side of the driveway, and he's got 2 or 3 heads,
Yeah.
alongside the driveway. He gets his whole, can get the whole front yard with that. And
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, keep it, like, I would just try to keep that irrigated all year. Like, I was thinking about it, but it would still be a lot of water. But if I just did just the middle. And
Bill, did you ever daisy chain the Melnors together?
I tried it, and I just don't have the pressure. They're kind of like droopy, like impotent.
Yeah, so they
So
do.
I can only
lose.
do one at a time.
I've ran 2 before, and they do lose your range quite a bit.
Yeah.
But here's what's interesting. So the other day, I had my chain of 3 of the hunters. I had that set up off my spigot. I just have like a dual split off my spigot, and I had my Melnor in the front yard. And I was like, I'm just curious to see. So I opened them both up, and they ran together. And actually, surprisingly, like it could supply it all, and like you could tell the Melnor dropped a little bit of range, but actually I was surprised it covered that much. Just with all those heads going and all that stuff.
I like the idea of daisy chaining those hunters, because if I have enough pressure to do that, kind of like how you've got it, maybe where you can run 3 or
I run
how
3.
many you run 3. Okay,
I
so,
tried
yeah.
4
It's not too
dramatically
much.
changes.
Yeah. Okay. So if I can run
What the
3,
heck is this?
then
I've seen that
that's
on
the one that
photos.
walks along the hose.
The
That thing is
hose.
cool looking.
And it
What did you
aerates
get?
at the same time, it looks like.
Yeah, get that thing. Yeah, right.
Dude, yeah, what is this?
I've seen videos of those. Yeah, if it works, that's pretty sweet. It
You
kind of
just-
follows the hose along.
Yeah.
How does it follow?
Something underneath, maybe. It grips it somehow.
Yeah,
And I
I've
think it
seen 'em
uses
where
the
they-
water pressure to
the
spin the
water
wheels
to turn the
too.
wheels, and then it spins the top
Yeah.
of the wheels or something. It's there's a little transmission.
No batteries needed. Just
I feel like
Let
they've
it
been
rip.
making those for like 50 years.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Really?
I don't think I've heard,
How well do they work though? I mean, it looks like it's like zigzagging all around the yard, but it just
Well,
do they work that
again,
well? I
if
don't
your
know.
hose, depending on the size of your hose you're using, probably too, the weight of it, is it going to pull the hose and not get
Yeah, I
stuck?
can
Or,
Be kind of
I've
fun
al-
to see that though.
I've always seen those
In
things at
action.
like Menards for like $5 on clearance. Not no $150.
Yeah. So it sounds like irrigation is kind of a given for most of us. Like, I don't know if anybody in the chat, forgoes irrigation all natural during the summertime, but if I did that, I would be completely dormant and a lot of burnt off areas. So water's a given, but beyond water, what are some of the things you guys are doing to kind of help prepare your lawn for summer?
Yeah, you want to start with how to cut, like we were talking?
Ooh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I just raised my mower. I just go like 1 notch higher in
Yeah.
the summer. And that's all I do. I've historically in the spring and the fall, I try to keep it mowed at like with D&D on my Time Master. That's kind of where I like the height of that.
Yeah,
it
you
looks
like
good. It looks good there. But yeah, then I hit about beginning of June, and I'll raise it to C and C. And then, but funny part is like I was mowing. I'm like, dang, like I feel like I'm going too low, and I didn't even realize it. So around like when I cut in my back, I have those like whiskey barrels with the flowers in them and all that. Well, I turn right by it. Well, in my height adjustment on the side of my mower, I rubbed up on it, and it moved it. It moved it, and I didn't even realize it. And I just kept mowing. I mowed my whole yard. And I'm like, dang, like that's short, you know. and so then like I didn't even realize it. So then the next mow, I was like getting ready to mow, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna raise it up, and I'm like, dang it, like
wait a minute.
That's what it was. Like I cut a whole notch lower than I wanted to. And I was like,
that's right, because the Time Master has both sides go up and down, right? It's the front and the back. So when you hit
front
one,
and the back on one side.
Okay, because on mine, each one's independently up or down, so it would have just looked weird, I guess. I would have felt the wobble maybe.
But it was just the back, so I was running almost like a pitch, but you know, I mean, whatever the lowest one is going to hit it. But like and I'm mowing. I'm like, dang, like I'm cutting off a lot of color here, you know. I just didn't really put two and two together until I got done, and then so but that can happen, definitely can happen. So now I'm back up to where I want to be, but now I get like my lawn's growing like crazy still. I mean, I could probably cut 3 times a week, and
really?
like like I mowed Saturday. I mowed Saturday. I actually striped. If anyone saw my story, I literally striped the hill vertically. I did that, and it's a heck of a workout. But then like tonight I got home. I got home tonight and I looked outside. I'm like, I really need to mow right now. So I mean, I can mow every 3 days. I bet you I'm growing an inch in 3 days.
Wow.
So it's growing pretty crazy right now.
So are you? So mine's not growing like that. Just because I'm not watering or have rain. But if I was you, I would be mowing 3 times a week. But I'm trying to mow like the least amount of possible right now to, really not stress it out. Or like you said, I get that brown. Like it's funny. You were like, oh yeah, like you kind of get, if you go a little lower, you get the little brown hinge. I think it's funny that this is a diss on warm season here, guys. But you guys scalp it. Oh, it's a how to cut reset. Whatever. And we're like, we're fucked.
Well,
So,
what are your guys' temperatures like out there? Like, what are you guys getting as far as like air temps and stuff? Because here we're cold.
High 80s, low 90s.
We're like 89, 90 all week, no rain.
Yeah.
That's where we've been.
Yeah,
I've only been trying.
It's like kids are in the pool and they're freezing. They're like, we gotta get out. We're freezing. Well, why are you in the pool? It's like 70 degrees outside. The water's 70 degrees. And they're, with their kids. It's like I go in. I'm like, I'm getting out.
I sat at my daughter's softball game yesterday for like 2.5 hours. It was 90 degrees, and it was like, holy cow, just sitting there. It was hot. It's been warm.
So when we did finally get some rain a couple weeks back, I think it's been maybe 2 weeks ago, because we've gotten 2 rounds of some heavy rain, and it wasn't Father's Day, it was whatever we had before that. I did bust out my aerator, and I was able to pull some plugs in some of those areas that were a little dry. So I did that. I think it worked pretty well. And looking back now, the plugs, I just left them there, and they're starting to kind of break up and get back into the lawn. So hopefully that'll help going forward into summer. But after the rain that we got on Father's Day, it looks really nice in the morning, but then you get home from work in the afternoon and it's kind of, it's shriveled back up a little bit. It's not quite as full as it is in the morning. So we're definitely kind of doing that back and forth with the heat. And I'd like to get I need to get my sprinklers all set up so I can start getting some good timers and just making it easier myself. Because right now I'm just moving them around manually, and that's annoying. So, but I want to kind of make a little video talking about it and showing everybody kind of what I use. So you have to find time to do all that.
So in regards to like watering and all that, I mean, we can kind of hit the basics of, you should always water in the morning when it's cooler, cooler before the sun comes up. The ground's going to be able to absorb it all before it evaporates off. And I think everyone kind of knows that golden rule. But, the other thing that it's not talked about a lot, and, maybe even frowned upon, but like when it's like low 90s and like maybe that way for 3 or 4 days, like I'll fire up the sprinklers at like 2:00 in the afternoon, just run them for like 15 minutes, just almost to like kind of knock that initial heat off the ground, cool everything off a little bit. I don't do it for, the hour to, get your soak and all that stuff. I just kind of do it more just to, But like to your point, Bill, yeah, like you mow and it looks good in the morning or it looks good in the evening, but 2:00 in the afternoon, it looks like it's just got beat down pretty hard.
Yeah.
Does anyone
Yeah,
else do that?
Well,
Yeah,
do
I'll
you
do that once in a while. And I've been using the Easy Flow and stuff since I got that. Using instead of putting down granular, doing the humic and stuff, just mixing it in that thing and just go, okay, loosen up. Because I had a problem with some of my soil being, compacted. I talked to Simple Lawn and they were like, check it with the screwdriver, and I did. And I mean, I put stuff down, and I used Hydrotain last year, and I don't know, I wasn't a big fan of it because it's kind of like a waste of money. You put all this down. Oh yeah, drought control. You watered, and we went through that dry spell, and it crushed the lawn. So I've just been using Dawn soap or baby shampoo to just try to soften it up. And they sent me some soil loosener, so I've been putting that down, and we'll go from there.
Yep.
Nate, do you get a lot of wind?
Wind? Yes and no. I mean, where I live is kind of more like the lots are bigger, and it's not like in I guess you call it neighborhood per se. So, but I have the hill behind me. But I tend to get like between the house and the hill, I tend to get like a stream that runs through there. But for the most part, yeah, I would say it's probably windy. But that's another advantage, in my opinion, to watering in the morning, because you're not fighting the wind. And
that's what I was mentioning, because like you run it like at 2-3, like I'm windy all day, even in the morning sometimes. And then I obviously know you're not supposed to water at night, but sometimes I've considered it just because there's no wind and I can actually get effective sprinkler, and if it's my only way, I don't know what's worse. But
I always laugh about, you guys say, don't water at night. What happens when it rains at night, though? Right?
That's exactly what I was going to say.
I always say the same thing. It's like, don't water at night. Well, why not? If it rains at night, it rains. Like, you can't.
I think it's those guys that water like every day at night, or too many times a week. Is that because you could? I mean, if it's raining wet all the time, you could get some fungus, especially if it gets warm and warmer during the day and all that moisture at night. You could, but yeah, I mean, one off here or there, or doing it in maybe around sunset. It's like a light rain, I guess. I wouldn't be too worried about it.
You get into probability and percentages. You have a higher risk. It's not necessarily saying you will, but you have a higher probability of getting disease if you water in the evening. Like when I lived,
if you're dry overnight, you're probably less at risk too than if you're humid. So that makes a difference. Guys like Brian, I think, and Justin, they might be able to water at night.
They do.
Maybe better for them at night. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it depends for sure.
In my previous house, and like before I really got into lawn care and kind of started knowing a lot more, I worked night shift, and so I'd get home at like 2 a.m. And at that, I was awake a lot of times. So like I'd go out, I'd fire up the sprinklers, and like even a buddy from work would come over, and we might sit in the garage or in the driveway while I'm just watering the lawn until like 3:30 in the morning or whatever. I'd turn them off and go to bed. Nice. I did it all the time. Now that I look back on that lawn, I thought I had this great lawn. I look back at pictures. I'm like, man, it really wasn't that nice.
Hey, man, we all start out, you know what I mean? But it's good. It's learning.
But yeah,
I agree. It's not good. I'm just saying, like, I take wind. I don't even do that. I'm just kind of playing devil. But I mean, I have to factor that in if it's windy. Like most days it's windy. So if I'm going to fire up my sprinkler, I know it's going to blow all over hell and I'm not even going to get, so. Yeah.
Well, you got to play the wind game. Like normally if there's no wind, it's dead. I can set up my sprinkler right in the middle of the yard, and it's like I said, it's perfect. But like, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, I literally I had it almost like 3/4 of the way towards my driveway because the wind was blowing. And when it went over, the wind was blowing so much that it was barely even getting to my driveway. Then when it would go back, it'd take it all the way over towards like the lot line. So yeah,
and those hunters are supposed to like do something with wind. I think the hunters, the way they.
Yeah, so the hunters on those MP rotators, you can kind of control the pitch. And like I have a couple of them that are set up that almost they throw pretty vertical, but they get a good range on them when I do that. I don't really adjust them. What I'll actually do is I'll kind of cheat it, where if it's windy, I'll tend to like literally put the stake in at an angle. So it's like it's going more down than as it throws. It just doesn't throw as far. But yeah, like I'll literally set my sprinklers up like to play the wind. It's like to have the wind at your back, and that way it can throw it a lot range. But yeah, I'm always, and that's why, like I said, going back to like the adjustability of that Melnor, that's why it's so nice because you can adjust the back and forth, the width, everything on it, and it's very, very easy to set up.
Yeah.
But
so beyond just watering, which is something that I think you have to keep up on if you want to try to stay green or look good throughout summer, especially where I'm at and the lawn that I have. I'm trying this year. I tried a couple surfactants, like you're saying, Ron. I did the Petra Tools liquid aerator, whatever. It's like some kind of I think it's ammonia lauryl sulfate. Just a soap, and it has like a defoamer in there. So I did that, and then I didn't really water after it. We didn't get any rain, so I don't know if like it even really worked or had an opportunity to work. So then recently,
I think you're supposed to water that stuff in pretty heavily, if I remember right.
Right, and I thought, okay, we're gonna get a rain, and it never came. Yeah. So eventually we got something, but it wasn't like I don't think it wasn't an ideal situation. I should have watered it in if I really wanted it to work. But I did the Hydrotane, and I think I timed that up really well. So, or not the Hydrotane, the Hydro Charge from Anderson's, that new one. That's got like a surfactant, I guess, somehow attached to the granules of some fertilizer, like a little bit.
It's sprayed on.
Yeah, and that one I did water in, and then we finally got a good rain after. So I think like pre-watering kind of got it ready, and then it really soaked in with the rain. So I think that actually worked out really well. And the lawn has kind of bounced back a little bit. And we're doing okay, but I need to maintain with getting the irrigation going. Ultimately, I'd like to irrigate real heavy or aerate really heavy in the fall. I think there's only so much you can do with surfactants and these things. They're going to have, around the margins kind of impact. But ultimately, if you have compacted soil, I think aeration will be the biggest thing. But I don't want to do it now. It's way too dry. It wouldn't really work. And we're getting right into summer. It would be too stressful, I think.
I got a lot of clay here, so you're dealing with that, and that when that compacts, forget it. Like my backyard, when I first moved in, compacted. You go start reading about it. Okay, gypsum. Go buy gypsum. And then you read about gypsum and it says, oh yeah, it could take 10 years for the gypsum to break down or something. Like by the time I'm like, you got to put it down like every year and just hope that. Once it finally starts breaking down, that it just keeps going.
At least it's cheap, it's not expensive.
Right.
That's like the one saving grace. Those things are pretty cheap.
Because I remember the first time I rented the core aerator, and I'm in the back, and I didn't water it beforehand, and I'm back there, and the damn thing is just bouncing, and I'm like, I ain't getting no force, I ain't getting nothing out, nothing out of it. I said, screw it. My front, forget it, because I watered that thing. I'm pulling out 3-inch, 4-inch plugs, it's like. And I was like, whatever, forget it now. Now I know. I'm like, all right, soak the shit out of it back there, and then I'll go back there and tear it up. And...
Yeah, definitely.
That's a big thing.
Aerating after a heavy rain, or if you're planning to aerate on a certain day and it hasn't rained, you definitely should water to take full advantage of that core, because it's the difference between pulling a 1/4 of an inch or a full inch or something like that.
Right. Yep.
So, but yep.
Speaking of aerating, and this is part of my thing. I'm thinking, okay, do I just not water it and do I just let it go dormant? And I'm already thinking about my fall plans, and I just really go hard in the fall and maybe just let it go through. Like at this point, I don't know if it's worth trying to like my lawn's not looking like that bad, but it's not looking like I normally keep it. So,
if that's your plan, what would you do in the fall? Would you get like a different kind of seed blend and overseed real heavy, or what?
Probably, yeah. I skipped last year overseeding actually on my front.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah,
completely. So. I was thinking maybe I just do both hardcore and I don't know.
Yeah. I'm curious, what percentage if you let your lawn go dormant, what percentage fully recovers versus doesn't? So in your case, let's say you let it go fully dormant. Do you have to overseed? Do you think you'll be okay, or is it going to thin it out? Or, I'm just curious, if there's any statistics on that.
I feel like from past experience, anecdotal obviously, but in my experience, when it does that, you're going to have areas that die off. I certainly did, especially the spots that were not the fescue. The fescue patch, you'd see these patches of fescue, and then the finer grasses would die off or turn, and that's kind of what's going on right now. It's those areas where you could tell the fescue looks pretty good, but those areas that have the thinner grass blades are kind of struggling, and they may recover or not. I'm hoping they recover, but if I didn't do anything, I think those would probably die off. And then I'd just, crazy overseed in the fall with more fescue, which is kind of what I want to do anyway. I want to do all fescue this fall and see if I can get that real thick. And then maybe incorporate more of the rye or the bluegrass going forward. But
I have that exact same thing where there's some, I have some finer blades, and I almost feel like some of the spots that are going dormant or possibly dieback are like my thicker spots where like I can probably afford to have a little bit of a die. So I was kind of thinking it might even help a little bit. Like,
yeah, possibly. Sure.
Because I do have some like too thick spots. Like it doesn't even look good. It's so thick.
Yeah.
Like, which I don't know how that happened, but
on close inspection, my lawn is all different. You know what I mean? Like there's different shades of green, and I'm even colorblind, and I can still kind of see the different shades of green throughout the lawn, and patches of like, there's a lot of, fat blades over here. There's a lot of thin blades over here, which is kind of why I like to do just a real heavy fescue overseed and get some of those more uniform.
Did you use the Black Beauty or no?
I did the Black Beauty, but I feel like I was too late and we got cold too quick last year, so
I've noticed that with the Black Beauty, I guess, because there's like perennial rye in there. There's different stuff. My lawn does the same thing. Like I'll get different things, and I'm like, oh shit, that's POA, and it's not. It's like some ryegrass or something that's growing, and then it eventually it all dies off and blends in. And I won that one from Lawn and Pest. They had a giveaway, and I won a 45-pound bag of their what is it? Their seed.
You always bring
clean seed.
You got a
clean seed.
Yeah.
So I threw some of that down, but it's hard because you got so many different types of grass in there. I don't know which one's which, what came up, what didn't come up, and I'm like, well, so in the fall I'm just gonna do that. I'm just gonna core aerate it and just throw that down again, and see that will come up, and we'll go from there. But the problem is I had a big oak tree in the front, and when I cut it down, I had a big, shady area in the front, and that's I noticed like a lot of spots where I have shade, the grass is beautiful, it's green, in the back, especially in the backyard, and then in the front,
it's not just getting cooked.
That died off. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, so
you should check your soil.
With that the last 2 years.
You should check your soil temps in the shaded area versus the open area, and see what the difference is. I bet you're darn near 10 degrees. Probably not. Yeah. 5 to 10 degrees, I bet difference. So, that kind of like tells you, like these 90-degree days versus the 80-degree days, that effect that it has on your lawn. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I had a spot in the front right by the sidewalk, and I'm like, it died off, and I don't know what the hell. I'm like, what? Never had it happen before, and it turns out just some kind of concrete or something underneath there. I don't know where it came from.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, Jesus Christ. So I just wound up getting a bag of this Scott soil, with the fertilizer, and just dumped it on the top. I threw some more seed in there. So I said, at least that's green. If it stays, it stays. If not, I'll have to figure out what's underneath there.
So one thing I'm noticing, so I got the solid tines for the fork aerator from Lansey, and I really like them. Like they're really super sharp. But what I've noticed is, and I'll just get it out and I'll just go around the edge of my property or just kind of mess around for 20 minutes here and there. But I've noticed I have a ton of rocks like underneath my soil.
Feeling crunching.
Oh yeah, it's like, and a lot of it is like
my construction bullshit.
Yeah, but like a lot of it is my troubled spots. So like I'll kind of I'll be going around, whatever, and all of a sudden like I'm just hitting rock. And I'm like, dang, like that's why this area probably struggles. That's why this area struggles so much is because of that. But, you can't really see what's under your grass. You're not going to dig everything up to get rocks out. But, yeah, as I've started playing around with those tines, I've noticed I hit a ton of rocks.
Yeah.
But
I need to get those. That sounds like that would be a good option too.
And actually, I like them better than the actual core aerator. It puts a decent hole in the ground, but I actually like it better than the core because like when I do the core and I hit the rock, it's just solid. You're not, whereas those actually, I feel like sometimes it'll hit it. I'll just keep jumping on it and it'll like maybe push it through or breaks them or something.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, smush it around.
They're not dull yet.
So I saw some guys in the chat talking about potassium. What's up with that? Potassium, some 0025, something like that.
We giving anything away tonight?
Oh, what are we doing tonight?
Yeah, we can do that.
I'm asking a question. Honestly.
Who makes an 0025 that would be willing to give some away?
Yeah, we can do that. Who's gonna do the will?
Oh,
I
shit.
can do it. I can do it. I'll do it.
But we got two minutes till game time. Some music's gonna play in about 2 minutes, so we
Yeah,
may
that's
have to wait for that.
Well, we could.
Let's do it, and then we could do names, and then we could talk about LOTW while we're what it means.
W.
Hear that sound?
Lot W.
Hear that sound, drunk on guys? You hear that sound?
I can hear it.
What's that?
Do you hear that music?
I hear something weird happening.
There's only one thing that means.
All right, so we're going to do lawn of the week. Keep off the grass lawn of the week. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But first, so what? Simple Lawn giving away some 25. What is it? 32? What
32 ounce hose in sprayer.
All right, we doing one of those guys? How many are we giving away? 2 of them.
We'll give
All
away
right.
2.
So SLS in the chat if you want to be entered in, and Zach will get you on the wheel. While he does that, we here at Keep Off the Grass do a little thing called Lawn of the Week, KOTG Lawn of the Week. If you're on Instagram and you use that hashtag KOTG Lawn of the Week, you when you're posting your pictures of your lawn or reels of your lawn, it can't just be your dog or something. There's got to be your lawn, your yard, something cool. Don't use it on a story because it'll disappear, but we're all following that hashtag, watching out, looking each week. And we think that the best looking lawn, the coolest reel, whatever it may be, is the lawn of the week. And winners get their choice of a Pro Peat fertilizer, 25-pound bag, whatever you can get on HomeDepot.com, or their fossil product. Eternal bragging rights, and Justin will give you an invite to the Lawn of the Week Members Club Discord. Isn't that right? Oh, he disappeared.
He disappeared.
Oh, well. All right, so winner this week. Who do we got this week? This is a new guy. It looks like a new to the lawn game, or at least new to posting online. Jake Nussbaum is our lawn of the
in the
week.
chat.
Yeah, Jake's in the chat.
Hello. There it is.
That is not a Busch Light, ladies and gentlemen. That looks like eggnog.
Microbrew.
That's thick.
Kind of want to try it though. Looks good. Them stripes in the background are nice.
I do like the stripes in the Boulevard.
Yep.
Like I said, I always go lengthwise on my Boulevard just because it's way too much work to do all those little stripes. But you can tell he kind of carries it through the yard, through the sidewalk, down the Boulevard. But looks good.
It's nice. It looks like he's like a corner lot too, so he's kind of got that nice big long stretch of yard there. That's awesome.
Yeah, it looks good.
Congrats, brother.
Congratulations.
I don't know, Nate. That looks like the peach, the Busch Light peach beer he's drinking there or something.
I have not tried that yet, actually. A lot of people tell me it's really, really good, but I have not tried it yet.
Wait, who was it?
Jake Nussbaum.
That's
Nice.
Yeah.
My phone went a little crazy for a second.
Jake is in the
there
chat.
There he is. Congrats, brother. Hazy IPA. All right.
Congratulations. Welcome to the club.
Be prepared to join the KOTG lawn Discord.
Whew.
Good looking lawn. Good looking
Yeah,
lawn.
buddy. I'm going to reach out to you, get some pics, throw it up on the Keep Off the Grass Instagram page, announce your win for everybody, and then figure out what you want from Pro Pete, and we'll get that out to you. Brian we'll get a few at a time, and then they'll send out a few winners at a time. So
Yep.
We'll be in touch, man. Congrats, brother. That's awesome.
And to Jason Smith, you can drink Busch Light out of anything. You can drink out of a wine glass. You can drink it out of anything. It doesn't matter. There's no every single glass that was designed for a specific beer, they all incorporate Busch Light, so don't even worry about that.
Oh, you're just talking glasses then.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter the shape. I mean, it all tastes the same.
I've
What do you
drank
drink
some
out of?
Busch Light out of weird places.
A boot, you know.
A boot.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Hey, what's up, Aaron?
all right.
I heard you guys talking about summer stress.
A lot of stress. A lot of stress this summer.
Get some real grass.
This conversation is for grass that's over 1 inch tall.
The grass that's awake for 3 months out here.
Yeah.
Good for you guys. Good for you guys.
Yeah, I was talking about it earlier. How you guys can maybe, you can have the excuse that I'm having a cut reset. Like if I accidentally scalp or cut too low, it's like, oh shit, I fucked up. But like if you go to cut, you know, you're lazy a week and you forget to cut, and you go back, you're like, oh, it's just a cut reset. You know, it's just
That's
on purpose.
that's absolutely true. Yeah, yeah, it grows. It's grass. No, it's been actually a really weird spring intro to summer for us because we've had a lot of rain and it hasn't been sunny and warm, and so things haven't really kicked into high gear yet. We actually need sun and warm to grow great grass.
So what's your excuse? Because yours looks pretty good.
Yeah, it's coming along, but it's not where it should be. So,
See, that would be my fear. I mean, you know, we've been hot and dry, so I think like folks that would have like say a warm season like a Bermuda out here, you know, there's still such a delay from when that kind of wakes up for the season. Like I'm out there mowing in the beginning of March, and I love that time of year. So
Yeah.
as much as I would enjoy having lawn that would be thriving more right now, you know, I love the spring and the fall. So as much as I would, I just don't think it would be, it wouldn't be enough for me out here. Wouldn't be growing enough.
I am seeing a few guys in that St. Louis area that are playing around with it.
Sure. Oh yeah. I mean,
So-
I think in the summertime it looks good, you know, especially like, you know, alongside the road or golf courses, whatever, places that, you know, anyway.
go on, Bill. Go on.
Well, you know, it's
All the
it's
places-
all the places where you
it
don't have to
looks
really
good.
do much with it. You know, it's just kind of there. You know, like that's easy.
Gotcha.
But
Yeah.
I need to get the wheel going here. So
let's do it, man.
So back
Well,
to before we spin and give that away, let's hit on potassium a little bit and just kind of, you know, why people tend to use it more this time of the year, or you know, what a 0025 product, like what do you know, why do you use it this time of year? Does anyone use it this time of year? Bill, Zach, or I mean, not necessarily 0025, but a higher potassium product.
if my soil test needs it,
Yeah, I mean, not specifically. No, I haven't done that yet. I've kind of done other things this year, but you know, I know that I guess the idea is that helps with root health or what have you. So maybe that would help with some stress tolerance during the summertime. Yeah. So I haven't gone down that route yet, but you know, I'm open to hear what you guys have done and if you guys think it's something that's helpful.
Yeah, so my soil results actually show that I am low in it, so I have no problem putting it down. But I have historically, in the past, kind of worked that into my June through kind of August game plan, where I try and apply it once or twice, just to help with the stress and to help with, you know, provide it more potassium. So I use it.
Nice.
Or even like the 3-18-18 that Simple On makes. That's a product that fits into my soil results. It helps a lot with, you know, this time of year as well. Ooh, the old
Well, whoever wins will have to tell us their thoughts. Maybe they can do it on like half the yard or something and see. It's just so
What are
hard
you
to
guys
experiment
spinning?
like that.
yeah,
What are you spinning for?
The 32 ounce 0025 from Simple Lawn Solutions.
Mm.
2 of them.
Right. Let's spin it.
Let's do it. Got any tunes for us, Zach? No. Oh. Hey-o.
Feel cut.
steel cut.
I know him.
Wait.
He's a
Congrats.
long-standing member.
Oh yeah,
of
he
the club.
he's used it before,
right?
so he knows what it's like.
You gonna spin
So what's
again?
up, Aaron? It's been a minute.
Zach, you gonna spin it again?
Oh, how many are we doing?
2.
Like 17. Oh, 2.
We'll
Well,
do 2.
25.
it's gone now.
Oh. Oh well. We're
Well,
giving one away.
we'll give one away this week.
We'll do one next week. How
Who
about
was next to steel cut? Let's figure that. Maybe who was next to
Me,
him?
I
Let's
was next to him. No.
see. you win every giveaway.
that? We still got left.
No, I'm on a dry streak there for a little while, man.
What, you haven't won in 3 weeks?
No, longer than that.
Hey, Ron, you take any leaves to the local dump lately?
No, I'm done with the dump, man. I haven't been back. I've been throwing it my garbage.
Yeah, you gotta try to somehow trick them.
I just bag it up. I throw it in the garbage. The robot comes and picks it up, and that's it.
Robot, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
we
the
got
truck
they got the robo can. The truck comes with the arm, and they just dump it. They
So they
pay
don't
for
even look what
garbage.
you're.
They don't care.
They don't
Nah,
care
they
if you're
don't
throwing.
give a shit. You can throw body or anything, whatever.
That's funny.
So, what other tricks do you guys have up your sleeves to kind of help us through summer? Is there anybody in the chat that's got something that maybe we
What
haven't
about like
touched
wedding
on?
agents? Like wedding agents, not like talking about hydrotane or anything like that, or surfactant, but like a wedding agent.
I love my wedding agents.
Mm-hmm.
I've just been
You have
using baby
agents. You have
shampoo.
wedding agents.
More
Is that right?
plural.
Oh yeah.
Oh, come on.
What do you use?
When I'm getting ready for a hot streak, I use man, I forget the name of it. It's a local thing. I get that at the farmers co-op. It's super cheap. And the first time I used that, I felt like my grass bounced back in like 2 days from all the heat stress and stuff because it wasn't getting good. I don't know. It was really hot. So I feel like it works. I water every 5 days when I use it. So instead of every 3 days without it. So
You used Dawn dish soap before, didn't you?
I use the shit out of Dawn dish soap.
Not even comparable, is it?
Nah, I use Dawn dish soap almost to see if it needs it. And if the grass likes the Dawn, then I'll use the wetting agents.
So,
I thought that's why you use Bush Light to test that.
Mm-hmm.
Is there like a wedding agent? And I'm kind of playing dumb here a little bit, but a wedding agent, is there types? Like, are you guys looking for penetration, or are you looking for holding
Distribution
capacity or holding capacity?
Ooh, yeah.
Like what
Both.
is there two different types or?
Yes, yeah, right. Yeah, I think so, right? So yeah, you have the ones where you kind of help it disperse into the soil more, or the ones where it kind of stays in the soil, kind of retains it longer, so you have more opportunity to utilize what's there. And that's what that hydrocharge has. Those combined, I think it's got two different things where one helps it penetrate and one helps it kind of hang out longer.
But yeah, I was just thinking like wedding agents. Like, are people looking to use it to get water deeper into the soil or hold water?
I don't remember which is which.
I'm looking for both.
I think the wetting agent itself. I think that way it doesn't that with the soap. Let's just say like the Dawn, that just breaks the surface tension, so the water can penetrate. Where if it's hard, all it's going to do is just run off. Where the soap will actually help the water, I guess, stick. And break that layer of crust or whatever you have. Same thing kind of like with the gypsum. Like that's what they were telling me is like once you get the gypsum in there, it'll attach itself to that clay and break it down, to soften it up.
Like you were hitting earlier saying gypsum takes 10 years, which I completely agree with. But I will say I've used it, I think 3 years now. And I feel like it's slowly like making, like even my numbers are like slowly reflecting that with my CEC and everything. They're slowly moving that way. Whether it's,
I'm sure it's gradual. It's not all or nothing, but yeah, I'm sure you're making gradual improvement.
To your point, it probably is 10 years. But like I said, I've done it the last few, and the numbers are moving that direction, whether it's that or something else or, whatever it is. But I feel like even like when I'm aerating or like I said, when I'm out there with that fork, I feel like, even like, feels a little bit different. So.
There you go, Zach. Jason's got wetting agents. He's saying it breaks down surface tension and the surfactants and lubricant to help it.
Yeah, but there's two different types of surfactants.
Oh, okay. Well, school us, my man. What are you thinking?
I mean,
yeah, they'll
it.
use what you're talking about, Zach, is like they'll use a wetting agent for like sheeting action on a green to keep it dry, right? That's what you're referring to, not necessarily different types of water holding capacity or penetration.
Yeah, I'm just curious what people are looking for when they use them.
I would say most homeowners are probably looking at reducing watering.
Yeah.
Right. They're not. And
Due
so
to what though? I think
Or
that's
making
also
it more
what.
efficient.
What's it doing?
well, there's the US, anybody that's super interested in it, the USGA actually has a really good article on the different types of chemical technologies for wetting agents. And so you can Google it, and it's super, super helpful as you pick out whatever product you're going to use. At least you know what it's going to do. So the wetting agent I use is a co-block polymer for Justin, are you all right? Do you just have a seizure?
Words are getting a little big for me, but I'm with it. I'm listening.
And it's for water holding capacity, but it has some other technologies in that. And so, anyways, it's something that it's not like super hard to understand, and I just recommend somebody actually do a little bit of research. It's kind of fun to learn about them. And so, and then how the different technologies have progressed. They started out in like the 50s, and over the years they've progressed from a technology side. And so it's really fun to kind of, like, hydrotane is like a it fits in one of the generations. I think it's maybe the 70s. Don't quote me on that, but like it's not invalid technology. It's really older technology, from what I understand. Now, I'm not a scientist, but
I would imagine something like hydrotane is probably within a class or within a category of that. And if there are other ones out there, I'd be curious to see, if there's other ones that are newer or what. Granted, maybe price difference would make it, not worth it, but I don't know.
The tough thing for me, like, people ask me, like I've only used hydrotane once. It's like, well, did it work? To me, like, all those like soil like looseners, even like soil loosener, like, I don't know, like, you really can't see anything. You know what I mean? And like, how do you measure it? Like, it's not like you put a fertilizer down, and it greens up and it's growing where you can kind of see the impact. So I don't know. It's one of those things where I almost feel like
You'd have to have a test. You'd have to only do half your lawn to see if there's a difference. Otherwise, you'll never, you don't have a control,
But
or maybe
yeah,
your
yeah, yeah.
backyard, but you have to treat them the same for everything else has to be the same other
But
than
then-
hydrotane.
But then how do you measure it? You take, a screwdriver out there and you
Sure,
know-
you could do that. You could do visual appearance. You could do, whatever. I don't know.
Like I said, like when I go around with that fork aerator, I mean, I'm doing the same thing to every part of my lawn, and I have so much variable in that fork aerator.
Yeah.
So
sure.
is it the products I'm using? Is it maybe I'm not getting coverage, or is it, what's underneath, or, I mean, like, there's so much to take in consideration.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you did, let's just say I did half my yard, right? And you go back and, okay, in this spot I hit it, but a foot to the right, you might be able to get that screwdriver all the way down. And that's, like I said, I literally, like, when I put that fork in, there's times where I put it in, it goes like that because the left tine is hitting something, whereas the right tine is not. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess that would assume that the soil structure of your entire lawn is uniform when it isn't necessarily. So you'd still have differences there. You can't, unless you're somebody like Aaron, maybe, who has kind of gone under there and worked out his soil, perhaps, or somebody, turf tamer, maybe. So one of these guys.
Soil.
I don't know. Sand. Sand.
Yeah.
I guess if it's all sand, then you that's probably much more uniform, and maybe you would see a difference with or without hydrotane. Have you ever done that, Aaron? Have you ever kind of played around with your yard and used something on half of it and not on the other half, just to kind of see if there's a difference?
Yeah, I do test plots. And actually, where Nate, to your point, I have some spots in my backyard that pool water if it rains really hard.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where I started using a wetting agent. Actually, I didn't use it across my whole yard, and I could see that those spots weren't holding water. We can go out the next morning after a heavy rain, and the water's not there. And so there are some, visual indicators you can tell by runoff from your sprinklers and stuff like that. And so,
well, on your lawn, you can probably see that. Like, I hate, but if you're cutting, let's just say like 3.5 inches, you're probably not going to be able to see runoff very well. If you got a quarter of an inch of rain, or if you ran your sprinklers for 20, 30 minutes, you're not going to be able to see that. I mean,
I've never cut hay.
No.
So
Yeah.
But hey, so so how much of a sand base do you have? Because this is back to my original thing. Like, if golf courses are all sand based, and that's supposed to be the king, and then they're using wetting agents. I'm just curious. What they're using. They should have a nice drainage with the sand cap, and then if they're what are they using the wetting agents for? So
yeah. Well, that's like I said, that was on my backyard. My backyard probably only has maybe 5 tons of sand per 1,000. So it's not maybe at best a 1-inch sand base on that. I mean, I think that'd be really generous on it. So
okay, I see. I was thinking you had like a 4-inch one or something.
my front is different. It's got I think 28 tons on it. So
I'm gonna try the crunch enhancer from Carl Griswold, the nutritive cereal varnish. See if I can break up the soil with that.
What is that?
That's the Christmas Vacation when he's making the crunch enhancer. Where the stuff doesn't stick to the cornflake, the milk won't penetrate the cornflake.
yeah,
We'll try that for the.
No, I mean, if you're in a hot, I don't know what I've never grown cool season grass, so.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
Aaron, you've
have.
never done what I've done.
You had Bermuda.
Oh yeah, I had
Oh.
Bermuda, or I had
Man, I'm
Kentucky
gonna
bluegrass.
clip that right there.
You still cut
Yeah,
it
good.
what, half an inch or whatever.
Yeah,
But he stopped doing it because he couldn't get it to work right. So he's, I don't know.
Couldn't
I did
hang.
fill it off.
Couldn't hang, man. I can't do this.
No, I really practically I was wanting to take the front lower, and on the freaking Greensmaster, adjusting the height of cut on it just is a pain. And so I was like, I'm over this. We're killing it.
I get that. Yeah.
So it's gone.
When I've used wetting agents, I notice a difference immediately with how far I can get a screwdriver in, after a couple days. And just the length between watering, I can see the color change when it starts to dry up. So
Yeah.
I've always been interested in saving water. So watering every day like my neighbors doesn't work for me. I want to push it as far as I can. So in August, I like to be 4 or 5 days, and that wetting agent is what I got to use to get there. So
how often should you apply it? You know what I mean? Like, how long does it kind of have its effect? Is it like a one and done type of deal, or does it retain in the soil for maybe a week or two, a couple weeks?
I
Like
want
when
to
you're
say
applying it, what do you think?
the product I'm using, I think it calls for every 3 weeks to put down.
Okay.
I've used some other products from some more Instagram known brands that are every 2 weeks and don't seem to work as well.
Okay, fair enough.
And cost a little more, honestly. So this local stuff's like, man, my application, I could get my whole front yard for about $15 3 times. So I got all summer long.
That's awesome.
And then the other stuff's like $60 for a couple bottles to do it. So
What's the main ingredient in that one?
I don't know.
You should bag some of that up and bring it to GIE and sell it.
There you
You
go.
want me to go grab it?
Sure, why not?
Go grab it. Yeah, I'm interested.
Yeah, man. I'm not going anywhere.
I just realized he's in his camper.
So Zach, you put down that hydrocharge. How have you noticed a difference in the lawn? Has it bounced back a little bit since?
It's hard to tell. But I put down a half pound of 1608 in the spring, and then my only other app in my backyard was that. Okay. So it's hard to tell because I've had like no rain, hot, and so it's hard to tell. But I mean, it's hard to tell.
Aaron probably missed the part earlier in the show when Zach was talking about maybe letting his backyard go dormant.
Yeah.
You got to get it ready for that Bermuda, man. You've been talking about it for a while. It's ready to.
It is funny. I would have been one of the first, but I see a lot of people are doing it now. But when I think I talked to you about that, like the first time we were ever on Zoom, and you were like, "Oh man, that'd be cool." And I was like getting your opinion on like,
you had it all lined up and everything.
It's been like 3 years. It's been like 2.5 years I've been talking about it.
Oh, the aqua.
Well, you started with like the patch around your.
Yeah, the putting green for your frisbee golf.
For frisbee golf, right?
Yeah.
Is that going to be every year something happened? Like 1 year, it was 3 years because the first time I had seed. No, 2 times I had seed and I missed the window, and then I was going to get sod and I never got it. But
is that the video of you throwing it like right at the camera? Is that?
Oh no, that was just something.
That was his dormant seeding. That was his dormant seeding.
Oh yeah.
But,
gotcha.
Yeah, I should. But yeah, I'm like, dang, man. Now I see a bunch of people popping up doing something similar, like little plots. And I'm like,
they're all running what, iron cutter?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I was going to get last year, but some things didn't line up. But we'll see. Now I got to do something different. I got to do like St. Aug now.
Oh, no, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't.
What's up?
This is the guy, was it Kevin or something that ran that farm in Jersey here that was on?
Oh yeah, they're talking about aquatrolls in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he had what? He had Bermuda up here or something, didn't he, in Jersey? He was growing.
Yeah, there's a guy running.
Well, the Eagles.
The Eagles field. Yeah, they play on Bermuda.
Yeah.
No, was it Elevated Cam? He just did Bermuda sprigged, and he's up in near you.
He sprigged his lawn with Bermuda.
He sprigged his father's.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I saw it. And he's a sharp cat. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, that'd be cool to see.
Yeah, I'm gonna follow it along pretty close.
Well, I saw
pretty north.
Lawn Radiance in Nebraska, which is basically straight west for me. I think he's in Omaha, but he's doing the iron cutter. So I mean, that's basically the same latitude as myself.
I can't imagine. I mean,
I wouldn't think it wouldn't even start growing until like June. I wouldn't think, like maybe late May. Like late May, it's probably start growing. But then I mean, it'd stay through probably September. And after that, it'd probably start going. But I don't know. We'll see.
Brew some witchy stuff on your own,
well,
matey.
Next week we we don't know for sure, but Olee's gonna come on and he's gonna talk about all where he's at right now or where he was with Mountain View Seeds at in Oregon. So
Oh yeah.
We'll talk about that. He's got a bunch of pictures and videos and stuff we can pull up. And
Yeah, that'll be sweet.
Possibly
cool.
NBS coming on too.
All right.
That'd be cool.
All right.
That'd be cool.
Hell yeah. Thanks everybody.
Justin, did you find it? Hold on.
Oh yeah,
Did you find it?
Well, yeah, we gotta see his.
It just says a proprietary blend of
Herbs and spices.
I didn't even know what's in
Herbs
there.
and spices.
Mm-hmm.
KFC. I got it from
17
KFC.
different herbs
Other
and
ingredients.
lawn spices.
Human.
Yeah.
All right, I tried.
Makes sense.
All righty.
They should have an SDS, shouldn't they?
Yeah, I looked
Maybe.
it up once, like 2 years ago. I don't remember what it said though.
Well,
What's the branding?
What?
we're calling her a night.
I love you guys.
Yeah, sweet.